All right. I'm going to give you your oath, but I just wanted to make one mention to you, Adam. You're new, you've been at it a while, but integrity is truly important because without integrity, nothing else matters. And if you don't have integrity, nothing else matters. So that's truly, as an elected official, an important concept to keep in mind. Okay. So with the oath, I'll have you raise your right hand, and then when I start it, you will say your name, okay? I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Ramsey County Commissioner
of the office of Ramsey County Commissioner
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank
with
you.
your work. You have to sign here.
Oh,
Well, sometimes people want to see the oath that you've signed. We get requests for that quite often. No, just up here, signature of officer. All right, thank you.
Thank you much.
And you better have a legal question quickly, because I'm only going to be here for about another few minutes. With that, I'll leave you. Good luck with your work. Thank you for letting me do that for you.
Thank you, Judge.
Call meeting of the Constitution order from staff to pledge allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start off with the board reorganization. First order is to nominate a chairman.
I move to nominate Ed Brown for chairman of the Ramsey County Commission.
There's a motion to nominate Ed. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Do I go all the way down or is it Ed's turn now?
I guess
You're doing good.
you can
You're doing
swap, you
good.
can swap.
You can swap.
Morning, Jerry. Morning, Jerry.
Are these on our tablet?
Yes.
The next one's for vice chair.
Yeah, so I didn't see the word vice chair. Oh, there it is. You need a motion to nominate a vice chairman?
I'll nominate Myrna Heisler.
Second. I see a motion in a second. Motion for portfolio auditor, VSO, and emergency management. Pardon?
Can I vote on all of them at once? or-
I would think we could.
We can do that. Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Do you want to leave them how they are though?
Just did.
Probably should vote.
The
Oh.
vice chair
Oh.
separately and then the portfolio.
Okay. So nomination for Myrna for vice chair and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. none, motion carried. And we'll just do all the rest at one time. Commissioner for Auditor, ZSO Emergency Management.
I will make a motion to nominate the chairman, Commissioner Brown.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Sheriff and State's Attorney and County Agent.
Highway, you missed the highway.
Oh, I did it. We'll go back up to the Highway Department. Need a motion to nominate a portfolio for the Highway Department.
We have two on there,
This one.
You just
just one. In the list of people on the highway board, there are two of you. Yeah, Bill and Edgar.
Oh, that's for the,
Oh,
when they meet with the city.
That's different, that's road,
That's a different.
that's
Okay.
road,
Road department?
Committee.
committee, yeah.
Shared roads. Are we mandated by state statute on how many we can put on there? No.
I would think that it might be wise to have.
It's our largest budget.
Yeah, it's our biggest budget.
That's fine.
We have two on the, social services and law enforcement. I just thought maybe we should have two for roads as well.
For a portfolio, that's fine, whatever you guys choose to do.
I'll nominate Adam Lightfon and Bill Mertens.
Then a motion for, a nomination for Adam Lightfon and Bill Mertens to sit on the Highway Department Board. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we'll go down to portfolio for Sheriff, State's Attorney, and County Agent.
Who's had it?
Scott had it. I would be interested in
I'll nominate Mark.
I'll second that.
that. Motion and a second for Mark Wilson for the Sheriff and State's Attorney. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, being none, motion carried. A motion for portfolio for Building Grounds, IT, GIS, and Tax Director.
Who's had that?
I had it.
Myrna? I'll nominate
I'll second.
Motion and a second for Commissioner Heisler to have the Buildings, Grounds, IT, GIS, Tax Director portfolio. All in favor say aye.
Myrna.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Need a motion for the portfolios Recorder, Treasurer, Superintendent of Schools.
I'll nominate Adam Lightfon.
There's a motion to nominate Commissioner Lightfon for portfolio Recorder, Treasurer, and Superintendent of Schools. All in favor say aye.
I
Aye.
have a second.
Hmm?
You
Oh,
gotta
you
have a
didn't have a second, no. Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, being none, motion carried.
And this next motion, let's pull the VS, Veteran Service Officer, off of there, because he's an appointed official, he's not, we don't have an agreement with him anymore. That was when there was a contract,
Yeah.
so we'll pull that off of there.
I make a motion to approve the lease agreements excluding the ESO.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, being none, motion carried. Time to switch, Mr. Brown.
I'd like to commend Commissioner Olson on doing a fantastic job as the chairman of the Ramsey County Commission over the last year. Been some trying times and you've done a very good job.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to second that.
Now you start adjusting in your chair.
That's just right.
Well, they're on wheels, you guys
Just
just
switch.
Better than a tail.
You guys might want to switch your chairs.
You should switch
Yeah.
chairs.
I'll
Yeah.
switch chairs with you.
That's what you want.
Go just on wheels.
That's not fair for us. You don't want that?
No,
You got our knowledge here.
I got the same same Iowa college.
Oops. I'm ahead of myself here.
Gonna switch your name tags too.
Yeah.
Taking more pictures, are you?
I will, probably.
Hi, neighbor.
Next order of business, approval of minutes. So a motion, or is there any corrections?
Motion to approval?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Bills, we had a chance to look at them. Any corrections? Doing the counties with these, right?
The highway.
Everything.
Motion to approve the bills?
Second.
Motion and second, is there any discussion, questions? Roll call, Elizabeth.
Heisler,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Olson,
Hi.
Martins,
Aye.
Brown.
Financial reports.
How are we looking?
We're looking good. Is there any questions on the board on financial? We're at the percentage where we should be, so. There's some lines that are in the red, but that's, they've got other money in their other budget, so we'll just, between the two budget lines. The miscellaneous general is in the red, but between all the other general funds that are left, it would be a wash. So,
Where did you take the veteran service officer money out of?
he has a fund that's 2920.
But it's in the red.
No, it's not. It's not in red.
Okay.
If you look in that liability report you're looking at right now, on page 3, 2920. His budget's in the red, but the liability report's not in the red. This is the funding
Oh,
report.
this is the funding.
But
Okay.
if you look at his budget report,
He's in good shape.
his budget is in the red, which the
Right.
budget report is different than the liability.
Then the liability, but he's good on the liabilities,
Right.
right? Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
But the budget, he's in the red by, there. Yeah, he's way over his percentage, so, but that will amend at the end of the year, because you guys made a motion when we started.
And I'm just asking where that's gonna come out of, which, is it gonna come out of miscellaneous on the general fund?
No,
or is it
we're not
come
gonna
out
take it out of any fund because his liability report has money in it, which is his revenue report. So at the end of the year, we're just going to amend it by whatever it is over. Board makes a motion, I shouldn't say at the end of the year, the first meeting in January.
of-
I
Okay.
give you a report, it'll show how much you have to plus into this budget. And there'll be I'll put a note beside it of why, because the state auditors need to know
Mhm.
why. And it's because we hired a new VSO officer at a higher rate.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion?
Move to approve the financial report?
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Olson?
Aye.
Icon?
Aye.
Martins?
Aye.
Heisler?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye. Treasurer's checks, approved treasurer's checks.
So moved.
Have a motion to approve the treasurer's checks, is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a second, any discussion?
I was a little concerned about the 21, 22, and it was for, if anybody wonders, it's for retrieval on a request for assistance with collection. And it was collected by the sheriff's department for Lamont Paint and Glass. It's on checks written for the month of November.
Yep.
Okay.
What was your concern?
Well, I didn't know what we were paying Mott's Paint and Glass $16,875 for, because I didn't remember ever approving anything of that nature. And so I wanted to know.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Hold on, the treasurer's checks. Heisler,
Aye.
Mertens, Lightcon, Olson,
Aye.
Brown.
Approve agenda. Any corrections?
Move to approve the agenda.
A motion, is there a second? I'll second. A second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Visitors and delegations. Anybody need to address the commission?
Do we have to do, my understanding when I looked at the site is that we have to do it a week ahead of time now? Is that
I don't know if we made any stipulations
decisions
like
on
that.
that?
On the county side? I
Yeah.
think
That's just to get on the agenda, if you're a visitor delegation, you can come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I have a stopwatch. There. Somewhere. Yeah, couple of things.
It's not gonna take 5 minutes, is it?
Nah, I don't think so, but I have a stopwatch.
I got a job too.
Look, I even brought something for everyone to look at. These are facts about the Mandan Refinery. Can everybody see them? Facts about the Mandan Refinery. If anybody would like to find out what the Mandan Refinery has done in the past, according to the Environmental Protection Agency, according to the Chemical Safety Board, it doesn't sit and puff little marshmallows out of it. I suggest you look at these sites to give the public the correct information right here. Can everybody see? I'm more than willing to leave this big piece of paper with you, or you can just go and look yourselves, because anybody can find it. Tesoro actually self-reports the formaldehyde, the benzene, and the toluene. It's not the stuff that smells that gives us cancer, or respiratory disease, or pulmonary disease. It's the stuff you can't smell.
Jessica, I got a question.
Sure.
What year was the refinery in Mandan open?
I think it's been open now, if I remember, it's been 40, has it been 40 years? I believe so.
That's not too bad for 40 years in that refinery.
Depends on you're the receiving
Have you
end.
looked at any other refineries on their violations?
Oh, absolutely. Ed, I grew up, how many people here grew up in a refinery town?
Which one did you grow up in?
Richmond, California.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing too is Eagle Sledge is a fascinating company. Global Precision Medical is a fascinating company. Mr. Weiss owned that. Mr. Simple owned. And the U.S. Security.
Simple.
Well, he's one of Mr. Weiss's partners at one time. It started Global Precision Medical. U.S. Securities is involved. I suggest everybody take a real good look. But this is really important. This is very important. They self-report 120,000 to 160,000 tons a year of formaldehyde, toluene and benzene, all cancer-causing agents a year in the atmosphere. Actually, all of them do that. They self-report. They self-admit. So let's not pretend it's something it's not. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just leave this here.
Dakota, Gary, is he here? Yeah, there he is. that to us today?
Well, welcome Commissioner Lightfon and the rest of you. I'm going to be pretty boring after that, I guess, but the legislative process has started, and I've started making trips to Bismarck. I've been put on a couple committees, and there's going to be some major law changes, it looks like, on taxation reform. And one of them that's probably going to affect us is they're looking at ag land modifiers to maybe strip the counties, some of the counties' authority for valuing ag land. And the tax commissioner's office asked me to be on that committee, so I'm sitting on that one so we can stay abreast of what's going on. There's things like we've modified the trees in the big treed areas in the county. When we implemented this, some of those trees are sitting on really good land. We modified them down. Steve identified it with the GIS, the big treed areas, and we modified those down. You know, that's something that may be affected by this. And the water, everybody knows about the water, so I think that's gonna be a modifier, but I'll try and keep you guys on top of things. But and then notices, you know, there's some bill drafts that may require us to send a notice to everybody in the county every year, no matter if the value goes up or down. If we change the value. And in some cases that, you know, we might change the value just to round something off. It may change the value by, it might mean a quarter in taxes, but we'd have to send them a notice. You know, that's something that we're somewhat automated, so it might be all right, but it needs a lot of, you know, 10,000 envelopes going out. Anyway, get started. So if you guys got any questions, I can try and answer them.
The tree modifier, I mean, you really don't want that to go away, the shelter belts will all go away.
Well, yeah, and we're not really modifying for shelter belts, you know, unless it's a big thing, and I don't know if Steve knows. I think it identified, maybe it was over 5 acres. But it's the big treed areas, like, we got contacted by along Sweetwater Lake, where there's a lot of treed areas, you know, over by Woodland Resort, all those treed areas. And I don't think anybody wants to encourage them to tear more trees out. You know, and that's why we modified it down right away, and it's supposed to be what it's capable of producing for income is what we're supposed to be valuing. That's one of the criteria of valuing the farmland. Well, if it's covered with big trees, what's the potential for income? You know, there's nothing else really grows under it, but scrub brush, and you know, you can't. So that's why we modified it down, because there's no income being generated from it. And we got let know that when we sent out the first round of notices before we modified anything. So, no, I think it's a good thing to modify that down. Yeah. And it was down. You know, prior to us implementing this detailed soils, it was already valued lower.
Yeah.
So, and there's Representative Schmidt from just south of Mandan, and you know, I had a good discussion with him. He doesn't think that it should be modified down. He says he knows somebody that logs and makes pretty good money off, you know, selling timber or doing something with the wood. But it's not like we're a logging state. You know, that's one case where maybe then that piece could be modified back up because it is generating income.
And that's what they should look at, where they're taking the modifier away.
And that's just in the infancy stage, and John Walston, he's going to prepare a bill draft, and we've got another meeting set for sometime in the middle of December to see what the bill draft is, and then see how it would affect us for sure. They're not picking on us, they're really picking on some other counties.
Yeah.
So,
Well, keep us informed, you know, what's going on.
yeah, I will.
Don't be afraid to stop in, you know, the second meeting of the month also, especially during the legislative session.
Yeah, and as soon as the bill drafts come out, I can get you guys a copy too, so you can see what's, sometimes you can't really tell what's read into the print, but
I was contemplating, you know, having a legislative, have them come in and visit with us, because that's our foothold to the state is them. You know, that's how we get there. set a date or anything, we'd have to get ahold of them and see when they can get here. But I think it'd be a good idea, and we should do it this month before it gets so busy.
Yeah, and you know, our legislators here, I'm sure, haven't even been briefed on any of the,
No, but
you know,
I mean-
on this modifier thing, but, you know, it'd be good to get them up to date
Yeah.
early. And they do, you know, every once in a while they'll stop in the office too if there's something hot going
Yeah.
on, but, you know, they're pretty good about that.
I think that'd be a good idea if we can set something like that up.
Have a public forum, you know,
Well, at least the commission there, so.
oh, well.
And any public people, yeah, any of the public. I'm sure the commission's got questions for them, you know, we got social service we want to address, and the roads we want to stay on top of. There's other things also that we need them to take care of for us. That's why our government's set up,
Yeah.
is to go through them.
Mhm. And these guys have been really nice to work with in the past.
Oh,
There's some
absolutely.
bills introduced in there. Yeah,
But we need to get them informed before they get down there.
yeah,
That's what I've been saying since, for many years. Once I get there, it's
you get overwhelmed.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'd all be the same way. You know, and just can't comprehend everything.
Mhm.
But we'll surely let you know when we set that up.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Stacy?
Good morning. The Veteran Service Office, we've been extremely busy still. Continues on, if you got the report, okay. 75 veterans this month, so November has just been just as wild as October. I hope that December's not as busy as November was. Nearing the holidays, it seems in my history, it backs off quite a bit. But I did attend a meeting at the clinic and a military affairs committee meeting. And also I'd like to comment on the Veterans Art Show that was in Pekin on Veterans Day. It ran that whole week, but it was a big success. Most of the art was sold. Proceeds went for the homeless veteran program. And there was a lot of mind-blowing veterans art from the Vietnam era people. Some things that were, they had to tuck around the corner so some of the public didn't want to see it, they didn't have to see it because it was that nature. So you know that there were some tricky things working in the minds of veterans when they make art that has to be kind of censored. But it was really a hit and well attended. So if there's any questions for me. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Elizabeth passed me this note. Bill wanted everybody to know, and I'm sure the paper's involved here, the roundup is January 6th and 7th. We just want people to be reminded of that, so. And like I said earlier, he went to Dakota to put on a meeting, so. I'm sure any publicity he could get would be very appreciative. Hey, Ramsey County Water Resource District, I don't think they did that today. Did they? I don't think so.
Can you see over there? Are they over there?
I can hear voices. No.
The auditor won't be here till 9:30.
Yeah, we call them at 9:30, so,
We'll call him at 9:30,
Yep.
okay.
yeah.
Just move into new business.
The first one on the list, we already did releases.
We did that. Sheriff's house, was that included in that?
That was included, yeah.
Okay. Discussion on board appointments.
Basically, I gave you guys a list, so you are prepared for the next meeting, and then of course, January 1st is going to come on, so.
Yeah, I have a list right there.
Oh,
Oh, you know what, I think I got it on my tablet, on the info. Board appointments, bingo.
Okay, we have social service. Myrna and Ed, I guess I'll stay there if that's all right with Myrna.
I think we'll do these at the next meeting if you don't mind.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah, this is just for you, discussion and
For
review, and then
discussion.
we'll do them at the next meeting. So, because they're not up until the end of December.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted everybody to have a list, so we can go through them. And the only one that we haven't been able to find anybody on is the Ramsey County Housing Authority. And you did get a letter in your packet from Paula Shu that Kale Stromey is very interested in the position. So you can appoint him today if you so choose to.
I'm not on that board.
Right.
Who's been there, on there?
We were trying to replace, I think it was,
Mike Ornis?
yes,
Yeah,
Mike Gornis.
Mike Ornis.
And we couldn't find anybody for him, we kept advertising, and you guys tried to find someone, and we called Paula on, well, it's probably 2 weeks ago, and she said that Kale Stromey was very interested in the position, and that if the board would so choose to appoint him.
I'll move to appoint Kale to the Housing Authority Board.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Kale Strummy for the Ramsey County Housing Authority Board. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, anything else under this board appointments, any other discussion?
So we wait until next month to reappoint our tax equalization
The
and
general
and all of
person.
that, the January meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
But some of these on this list we'll do at the December second meeting.
second meeting in December, okay.
Is there any
Because they're expired at the other one.
any of these boards or that the commissioners want off or want, want to be on or?
And I know, like, for instance, Commissioner Brown and Heisler, you're on the social service board until 2016, but so that won't expire.
We could change, all right?
You could change it if you so choose to, yes. And then we'll advertise, like for Danny Webster's position is up at the end of this month. For the Water Resource Board, we'll put that in the paper. And then he usually sends a letter if he's interested, so.
Is this a good time to ask Adam if he's interested in being on any of these boards?
I've always got interest.
Okay, but I mean, if you look them over and you see something, there's a Human Resources Committee, down on the bottom, that will have an opening on it now.
Yeah, I guess it's gonna just depend on, I mean, most of the things, I went through the list as well, and there's some that are up, it's just gonna depend on if, anybody that's currently sitting in that wants to stay in that position, I suppose. Unless somebody wants to divest of some of their workload, I'd be more than happy to take some off their table, I guess.
I know that, there's a CDC board, Community Development Corporation, that's part of, Forward Devils Lake. And, Fran Lycon and Richard Bolt have both expressed interest in getting off of those, so.
What board is that?
CDC, they oversee the Devils Lake Area Foundation. And they meet monthly. So, they're looking for a couple of people from us, but there's 3 people on it from the local, like the Kiwanis and the service organizations. The city has a couple of people on it, and then there are 5 businessmen in Florida. And they want 3 people from the county on it. And we have.
3 commissioners? No.
No, 3 people appointed by the county commission. So that's something we.
Those 2 both want off?
Yep.
Should we put an ad in the paper for advertising for that position? That was done in the past, wasn't it?
That one, they've been on forever and ever, we haven't did that one, but we can if you so choose to. Or the board could just appoint someone that's interested.
They meet monthly? Yeah, I think you better advertise, because I don't want to
Okay.
appoint somebody and I gotta meet monthly.
No, they
They might
oversee
be,
a,
might be a little upset.
I think it's a $16 million foundation, so it is, it's not like it's, you know, something that.
And then we're
they
sure
need
both
to
of them
do.
want off. Your dad wants off that?
In terms of
He mentioned
the
it.
CDC versus Forward Devils Lake, I
He
don't know.
didn't say anything
Yeah,
about
I think
being
he
off
wants to
forward.
stay on Forward Devils Lake, but the CDC, yeah, it is, I think he mentioned that.
And Mr. Volk hasn't been to a meeting in 2 years.
Now, do we, when we appoint someone to Forward Devils Lake, is it automatically that they're appointed to the CDC, or can we split appointments?
You can split it.
Okay.
I asked about that at the last OPC.
Okay, I was just kinda curious about that.
And Richard Volk cornered me after church and he doesn't want. He said he hadn't recommended for.
Okay.
How about Forward Devils Lake, does he want to stay on that?
He didn't mention Forward Devils Lake, he
Just
just
the
mentioned
CDC.
CDC. Has he been coming to Forward Devils Lake?
Not to my knowledge, but, you know, I might have missed a meeting if he was out.
So, you sit on, are you an advisory, or do you have a voting?
I vote,
You vote?
I'm on the executive board for Forward Devils Lake.
Okay.
We,
And the CDC.
the county puts money into Forward Devil Lake.
We put up 1 million.
Mhm.
So I think we should consensus of the board to advertise for those, if we need 3 people for that, we better advertise.
Well, I'll stay on it, you just need to
2? Oh, they want 2 more.
have a lot more.
How many are on board?
There's 12.
12?
And how many on Forward Devils Lake?
Executive board is myself. I think there's 6 executive board members, maybe 7 at the most. And then there's at-large, there's another 10 or so, yeah.
Okay. Need a motion for that, or just consensus?
Consensus is fine.
Okay. And how will it read then, Elizabeth?
We'll put in there that little small black block ad that we're looking for 2 individuals to be on the CDC board, effective immediately or January 1st, however we want to put it.
January 1st.
Okay. And then if they're interested to write a letter to the Ramsey County auditor by, I'll give them a deadline, like the week before we send out the packet. We send out the packets on the 25th because we're closed on the 1st. We will send them out on the 29th. Yeah, that would make it more easier. So we'll give them a deadline like the 26th, because we're open that day.
Anything else on these board appointments? Do I want to get rid of any? Probably say get rid of them. Move over, or
What's my year left their time?
there you go.
Does home rule charter, does that exist anymore? Can we dissolve it?
It's never been,
We can dissolve that board if you want to. We did meet and everybody that sat on that board and the public input that we got on it, they were not in favor of county being home rule.
it's
So-
gone down more than once, so.
Yeah. So you guys can so choose to make a motion to dissolve that board if you want to at this time.
And the NDSU committee, that's for, just kind of for 4-H, that's
right, you meet with Bill, I think once a year, that's my understanding. What is,
How often do they meet?
I think, isn't it just once a year?
Roger, you're on that, do you remember
The NDSU committee?
how that operates, or?
Probably once a year.
Well, Reed Diary doesn't live here anymore. I wouldn't guess that Carl would come. Or Audrey. So,
Advisory for what, NDSU?
NDSU.
No, I don't think I was ever on that board.
well, your name's here, that's why we're picking on you, your name's on
Your
this
name's
list.
on there, but.
Name's on that list.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if I was on there, I was there, but
Mhm.
All these ones that are committees, the board can dissolve them, except the Ramsey County Soils Committee, that meets at least once or twice a year, so that one I
I've
don't
been
want
to
to
the last
dissolve.
two meetings, so that's just,
And the Lake Access Committee, I think, Bill, you guys meet,
do you meet?
Yep.
and the O&M Committee is the one we meet with the city. Billings Lake Committee,
Billings Lake, I think that problem solved, so.
We could dissolve that one.
Salt Lake Advisory still meets, so.
We should, probably- if you want to stay on the lake access and the outlet advisory, we probably should reappoint you since you haven't been appointed since 10.
12, 7,
10,
10.
yeah. Mhm.
to tell you the truth, is NDSU Committee, I think that was formed when there was an issue upstairs, plus when we hired Bill Hodis. I think that committee was formed to interview with NDSU Extension out of Fargo.
yeah, that was it then.
That was it, that was the
So
only
we could
time that,
dissolve both of those committees,
I would think so, the Home Rule Charter and
NDSU and the Billings Lake.
the Billings Lake. So if you guys want to make a motion, we can take those off.
Just
Well,
I have a question here. The NDSU one, does anything come through this committee as far as the extension upstairs?
I don't think so.
I think all that was for was the hiring of Bill that time. I can remember that now.
Okay.
Because I was asked to serve on that by the lady that was, what, district?
Yes, Kathleen Tweet, I think was her name, right?
Yeah,
Kathy Tweet,
yeah.
Alright.
or Tweeten.
So you want to dump that one and dump the home rule on?
and then how about local government study committee? Is that still active?
That one was put on there because that was a voting people, and I would think that one, we could probably get rid of that one.
Which one?
Local,
Local government study committee.
What were they studying?
we were studying to see if the counties, the city, and the surrounding counties could share more assets. And right now, the county and the city do share a lot of stuff. So that's what that one was on there for.
And then in light of the annexation board, Chris Shilkin no longer lives here. So we need an appointment there, and in light of the fact that I would guess the city is going to move to annex the area of the city is gonna annex the area for the refinery as well as the new industrial park. And so we probably need, I would think it would be a good idea to have a commissioner on there.
And which one?
Annexation.
Annexation board. Would you be willing to do that? Ann?
Yeah, I would be.
Okay. I would. I would think that county input in these matters is
What
extremely important.
Where's the annexation board?
Oh,
Right here.
right below the Falls Airport,
Middle of second page.
middle of the second page.
We have a
That's probably on
couple of slots open.
Some of that.
Yeah, I don't know if Doug Newgard is,
Looks like there's a gap already.
yeah,
Pardon me?
one empty slot on that already, so.
And I'm guessing that maybe Doug Newgard would not want to be reappointed, but we can, we can certainly ask him.
Are you looking at this?
Yeah, it's
We're looking at the
different list than I am.
reorganization.
Ramsey County Reorganization and Annexation Board.
Oh, see, we don't have that.
You must have a different list.
We took him off.
Ours is blank.
Yours is blank.
We
Yeah,
have two, we have two
because,
blank ones on that board.
because he moved, didn't he, Doug Newberg?
So we have two blank ones on the
Yep.
board.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in light of that, I think that we better get somebody on that board.
This is basically just for schools, isn't it?
I think it,
Reorganization and
and
annexation?
is for schools.
Well, what about annexation? Who represents the county on the annexation board?
If the city so chooses to annex,
This
they
one.
publish it, and then you have to go to the hearing. That's when you can dispute it.
Well, how did all of the other people that are on the annexation board get on it and the county has no representation at all?
That's a planning and zoning is representation for the area surrounding if the
This-
city chooses.
This
This is for
just
schools.
Okay,
That's why Lisa's on and I'm on it, but my name is not on there. That's for schools. And we should probably read the century code before we put Adam on there.
Mhm.
okay.
I don't have it in front of me because I pulled it up on the internet, so.
I don't think we want commissioners on
It's usually members
wouldn't-
at large,
there. You probably wouldn't want to be on
and then of course the judge is always present.
Yeah, I'm always,
I
willing-
went through
I'm
one.
always willing to learn.
there. I've been involved in annexations and
I went through one.
they're,
Oh, that,
Really?
so essentially that was a board set up for when the school districts were closing up and
Right.
rushing things in, yeah.
they probably only one left in this county that, or
Might
two
be.
that could happen.
Edward Stark, whether Devil's Lake are the only,
Three in the
We have in
county,
the county.
yeah.
When we reorganized the superintendent of schools duties, we made a motion to, if this was ever an issue where we had annexation, we'd have to bring in outside help to do that.
so something like the city annexing would fall under the planning commission then?
Yes.
Planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning.
Yeah, you don't want to be on this. We don't want a commissioner on that.
Okay, well then we should probably advertise for that too.
Okay.
I would guess you're not gonna get anybody to even put
Yeah.
their name down, but
We advertised before when Chris was leaving and we couldn't get anybody. Maybe we can put Commissioner Rodney Brown on it.
Maybe we put Rodney on it.
That's how Chris got on.
He was at a meeting. Maybe Kevin and Rodney would fit in that board.
I wouldn't wish this upon anybody, really.
It's,
They can get awful ugly.
yeah,
You know, if we look at the area that we think would be the next annex, would probably be north end of the county.
Yeah.
That would be someplace that you'd want to look to somebody for interest.
Yeah,
Edwards, our.
Edward's North Meadow, and that's here too,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't see that happening, not unless,
The superintendent of the school that is an annex should probably, be our contact.
and I need to research the century code on that, because I know there's specifics on that.
Lisa thought that it'd probably be more Lincoln or, something like that. It would be the next, she's acting superintendent of school.
Okay. Any other thoughts in any of these other boards? We're just gonna leave that one alone then?
We'll put it on,
You're gonna
I'll
advertise
advertise
too?
for it, yeah,
Okay.
for the two positions.
Other thoughts? Any other desires? Adam? You got anything?
I guess, nothing in particular right now. Like I said, it's all gonna depend on, well, any of you guys wanna adjust what you're on right now, and I'll just kind of fill in the gaps or whatever, I guess. There's certain areas of interest I have, but
Do you have interest in the chamber?
yeah, I'm open to learning anything.
Why don't I let you have that one? That's nice of me, right?
Which one's that on?
That was like chamber board.
Okay.
So do you need a motion to dissolve Closed committees?
Yes.
I'll move that we dissolve Home Rule Charter, Billings Lake, and
NDSU.
NDSU
And the local governance.
and local government.
We should probably send a letter to people. so maybe do
Yeah.
that.
If you would do that, then, okay.
Where's the local government? What was that one for?
That was, there used to be, you had to put it on the ballot every 4 years for local government studies. And it's between the cities and counties and local areas to share services. And we do share a lot of services with the city. We have roads and they use part of our Dakota programs to look up all of our tax packages. They can't get in and do anything, but they can look up stuff.
How long has this one been here?
Oh, forever, since I started in 1985.
Do they ever meet?
No.
What would be
They
a
used
what
to.
would be a reason they would meet?
They met way back when, I would say in, the last time they met was in 98.
And that was for what? Do you remember?
And I think it was, they kind of decided what they could share. And a lot of it was, that's when the city came on to our program for our tax package, that they can review it. And then also we were thinking about sharing other stuff like internet and all that, but that was kind of, no, that went down because of the state system, because their city did not. So there was other things.
Was there an agreement concluded out of that meeting that we need to?
There probably is documents somewhere in the drawer, but
I think we should look at them before we throw that one.
That one, okay.
I can
That
study
might
Study
it
it
be-
further and find out, yeah,
As long
something
as
we need
it's
to
in
look at.
place,
Yeah, sure.
maybe
Okay.
people don't want to be on it anymore, but let's review that a little bit. That could be,
So I'll remove that one from my motion then.
okay, so you wanna, you got them,
You want me to list them?
Elizabeth?
I got it.
You got them?
I crossed them out.
We got a second on that motion?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, is there anything else on these boards that anybody wants to discuss?
At the next meeting, to make any adjustments, good information to have for
What
what.
did Scott have? Human resources?
Human resources.
You're gonna take that one out?
I suppose, yeah.
What other ones did we have?
That's all I have.
And then you put them on the Devil's Lake Chamber Board.
Devil's
Do you
Lake
want to
Chamber
make a
Board.
motion on that one then?
I'll move to put Adam on the Human Resources Committee and the Devil's Lake Chamber Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Any other discussion here? We're gonna finalize these at the next meeting, Elizabeth, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody can put some thought into it, and, got any more points to bring up, we can do it then. Okay, other new business, Ramsey County Housing, we took care of that one, huh? Authority, that was scale county, right?
Yes.
Or we did that one. Approved grant agreement for attended care.
And since Adam wasn't here at the time, attendant care is an agreement that we have through the Association of Counties to pay the individuals that take care of young people that get, like say, the cops pick up somebody that's been driving that's DUI and there's children in the vehicle. They call the coordinator of the attendant care, and she comes in and she sets up people to take care of these children until somebody like a grandparent or a mother or whoever who's not in the car can come up and pick them up. And then in turn, we bill the Association of Counties, which is all a grant. And then we put them on payroll and they reimburse us for whatever we pay them. And then also this grant ends January 1st of 2015, we will be paying the stipend amount, which is the $200 instead of the grant. The grant cut that out, and the board made a motion on that. I can't remember the date, but it's in the minutes.
Yeah.
So, and we got that set up in our budget for that. So this is just agreement between us and the Association of Counties to continue doing the attendant care. So, if there's any questions, I guess.
Any other questions? Discussions? Need a motion, right?
Yes.
Have a motion, is there a second? And a second, is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Review letter from Joint Force Headquarters. What's that again?
That's
If they can get all through all the hoops that they have to get through with the environmental protection and stuff, I haven't got a problem with the camp, building a bridge out of there. I think they're gonna do
Is
it.
that what it is? A
Very
bridge?
good. It's some kind of a bridge that they can use for training
Out at camp?
out of camp. I think it's in that big hall that's right there.
So they get from one side to the other, or?
Yeah, and then they practice jumping the bridge or, getting across to the other side and stuff.
Holy smokes, during this part of the project, Ritchie Slough will be dredged to ensure adequate depth of launching. Yeah, they get that past EPA, go ahead. Any
Stuff I
motion?
never thought of.
No, it's just something for you to review and see
Okay.
any comments.
Any other questions on that?
If anybody has any comments or anything like that, there's a comment there, but I don't know.
Okay, announcements? Anything new?
I actually have one.
You do?
Yes, I do. It's not 100%, but I talked to Steve Nelson the other day. We had 0 overtime in the last 2 weeks. Or maybe just a couple hours here, a couple hours there. We went from that to nothing. I was very impressed with Steve. He's doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, our legislative meet, they're down in Bismarck this week, so I don't know if I can do it this week, but next week, would that work for everybody? If Elizabeth can get in contact with the legislators and get them in here?
Yeah.
I'm gone the 9th and 10th.
Okay, that's all.
That'd be Tuesday and Wednesday.
It's gonna be,
I'm at the legislative committee in Bismarck.
my idea was like 9 o'clock, is that
Right.
kind of all right with
Like
everybody?
Thursday or Friday
Yeah,
morning.
Thursday or Friday would work for me.
10th or 11th or 12th?
11 or 12, yeah.
Yeah, that would work for me too.
Okay, I'll see whatever can work at 9 AM.
Yeah, is that all right with everybody?
Yep.
And I don't think we need much more than an hour. I think we can, open up the communication line again and take things from there. 'Cause, they're in Bismarck this week and all that. That'll work for everybody? Make a list of questions or things you want to address. One of the things, Mark, we've got to remember is those bracelets they wear out there at the law enforcement center. I mean, we talked about it, I think, the last session. The Attorney General made this ruling to have these available. And there was no money to follow this rule or this law that,
Yeah, it's
to
another
implement.
unfunded mandate.
Yeah, and it's cost the law enforcement center really 50 grand or more, isn't it?
Yeah, probably right there. They pay for the bracelet, but they don't pay for any of the upkeep, the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
We have, Rob basically does that.
And undoubtedly it saved the county a lot of money because
They're not in
you
jail.
have a bracelet on instead of sitting in jail. And
How many?
we need to address that with our legislators, that's why.
How many are they up to now? On bracelets?
I can't even tell you.
I guess I didn't get that figure. Rob wasn't here that day. But that's one thing we gotta talk about. anything like that, you know, unfunded mandates, you know. We need to make them aware of.
And then we want to talk about social services
Absolutely.
with the, no. Actually, we should try to get 2 payments for 2015 because we didn't get one. So that was one of the reasons our budget was so high this year because
But I think that's
we
coming.
only get them every 2 years. We have to mandate to make that permanent so it goes into effect for always. And it's, I don't know if you're aware of that, Adam, but it's money for being near a reservation but not having any federal funding.
Anything else? Roads, I mean, we always got to have a hammer on for roads, but, you know, I think there's gonna be quite a large amount of money that's gonna be brought for road improvements. Just so they don't leave the rest of the state out like they always say.
I am concerned about the impact on the truck road if this comes to fruition with the oil refinery.
Well, yeah,
We've got phase 1 of the truck route, which is the east-west road, but if we're closing College Drive and asking people to use that truck route in 2016, and that oil refinery is being built at the same time, I realize that they're gonna bring a lot of things in by rail and already put together, but you still have 200 people that are coming out there to work every morning.
well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
But we need to, I'm thinking that we need to,
But they're not gonna do anything in the legislative session
no, that's true,
for this when it's still in the planning stage.
right.
It's another thing that they should be made aware of, that, you know.
They should, exactly, because they're gonna meet next year and then they're not gonna meet again until 2017, and that'll be a little late to try and get any money.
It's a good discussion point when we look for
Yeah.
more road funding.
Just so we have a list, you know, try not to dwell on anything real hard, very long. And I'm sure you're only gonna keep their attention for an hour thereabouts, so.
That's
I have one question too. If the city annexes in this property where the refinery is supposedly going, are they responsible for the roads then, or are we still responsible for the roads?
Good question.
that's something that we should have a road committee meeting, and we should talk to the Fed about that, because they should take over that.
It should be a negotiated item, that.
Yeah.
And there, I think there's some other things that we should negotiate with the city on that issue also. I don't carry anything right now, but,
Trying to get a meeting of the planning and zoning, because they should be made aware and kept up to speed on what's going on, do that as a Ramsey County
there's,
issue right now, taxation and stuff like that would be lost in that township.
there's a committee here that we just dissolved that would help the county a great deal, home rule.
Yeah.
If we had our home rule charter in this county, revenue from that comes here.
Yeah.
As we
And the only way we can revenue anything, and I'm sure you know this, Adam, is property taxes. So,
We probably want to set up a whole new one now, because some of the people that
correct. Beyond that. So, anything else on the announcements?
Forward Hills, like, was really pleased with the turnout. Betty attended a meeting, on Tuesday morning following it, and I don't know if she's got anything she can share from that or not.
Do we do executive sessions?
It was executive session. But one of the things with annexation is it doesn't affect the county property taxes so much, but Northfield Township will be affected heavily. It might be in their best interest to, negotiate with the city on that point. You know, they're not only losing 360 acres of land in one part, they're also losing the entire new industrial park if those two areas are annexed in. And that doesn't affect our property taxes. In fact, our property taxes will probably increase significantly. But we need to make sure that they're aware of that.
And they are represented strongly at the Perimeter Roads Committee meetings too, so should we try to get a meeting together
With the legislators?
with the legislators and with the Roads Committee? Because that entails all three. I'll see if I can get that set up with
Please, let's, try to set the time with the legislators, and then, I guess, either one of those days are gonna work for the commissioners, I guess, so. If the road committee can come, fine, if they can't, get a representative or two from there, so. I'm sure the township will come.
That's two
Strong.
representatives from North Korea Township. And
Ray Strong and Helton.
that's who's been on. And then I think Terry and Dick and Mike all come. But Mike, I don't think was really on there, he's an advisory.
I don't think Terry is
I think it would really
either. Is
help.
that the one Ray Stebbins on?
It would really help if we had some assurance from the city
No,
that,
that's annexation. Planning, city planning.
okay, anything else?
We got 4 years until 9:30.
We don't need to sit here then, we can go out and have breakfast or something, can we do that?
I tried calling him earlier.
We could try call and see if they're ready.
Lisa's here? Good.
Is he at work?
He's at work,
Okay.
so I just need your signatures.
Mike, you ready for us?
I'll try and call him and see if he's ready.
You should take that post back.
Nice offer though.
Heath, that's how we say it.
Put it up on your billboard outside.
There, Heath.
Hi Heath, this is Elizabeth, Ramsey County.
Hey,
Is it okay if you do this earlier?
I can do that.
Okay, because we're ready for you.
I'm ready for you. Okay. Well, as you all probably know, I'm Heath Erickson with the State Auditor's Office, and I guess I'm here to present the audit report for 2013 for Ramsey County.
Thank you.
Okay. And how's everybody doing today?
Good, good.
Okay. You guys got some cold weather up there too?
No, it's really balmy today. Way better than it was yesterday, I know that.
Okay. Have you guys got much snow yet?
No, lots of thick ice, so do you fish?
Once in a while, yes.
Yeah, the
So you-
ice is getting thicker.
Okay, people are out there fishing already, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I can get going. You guys can ask any questions along the way. Did you guys have any questions to start with?
No, you could move forward.
Okay. All right. What I'll do then, I'll kind of do some highlights in the report, and I'll let you know which teams I'm looking at. Many of you have reports for them, so they could
Yes.
have in front of them.
They have them.
Okay. What I'll start with is page 2, and that's going to be the opinion page. And the main thing on here is you guys did get a clean opinion for 2013, so there's no issues that made it less than that. And there's not really anything out of the ordinary on this one. It's a usual opinion, nothing happened to make it not that way. Next I'll go to is page number 4. This is the statement of net position. This is kind of your end of the year snapshot for the year. And this is going to include everything from capital assets, your long-term debt is included. So this is in addition to what your fund balances usually are. This is going to have everything that you guys own and what you have debt on. And it turns out you guys ended up with a net position of $29,850,000, which is very good for the size of county you guys have. You guys did increase quite a bit on capital assets this year, since of all the road projects you guys are having. You guys definitely have spent some money on some road projects. So that's kind of how that got increased this last year. Some of the main changes on this report is you can see towards the top at the assets. You guys have construction in progress of $13 million, and that was due to some of these road projects you guys are having underway, and that increased your overall assets quite a bit from 13. We go down a little bit into liabilities. There's a new item in there for this year, and it's called grants received in advance, and this is from your FEMA fund. When you guys collect money from them, which you guys hadn't spent yet for any project, that money is not actually earned yet until you guys spend it. So whatever is not spent gets put actually into a liability line item, because for some reason if you guys never did spend the money, you'd have to give that money back to FEMA. So that's how it ends up there for as of 13. Once 14 comes and you guys actually spend that money, then it doesn't be shown as liability anymore. You actually could receive the money. So that was something new for 13 that we had come across. So we adjusted that to show that this year. That should be it for page number 4. We'll go to page number 6. And this is actually one document that your banks and bondholders look at quite a bit, because this actually shows really what the county has to spend and how much is left to spend after every year. For instance, in the general fund, you have unassigned balance of $1,052,000. That actually would be available. That's what the bank and bondholders would think it would be available for spending. So that's kind of how they try to look at this. The rest of the funds, you see they're in a restricted fund balance, so they already have a purpose for those months. So anyways, that's kind of what this document is kind of showing and telling you. And it appears, everything seems to be fine. I don't see anything really out of the ordinary. Your general fund has a decent sized balance in it, so you're not too close to the other way on that fund. So that appears to be pretty good. The next page we'll go to is we'll go to number 8 as well. And this is the pretty much your income statement for the year. And you guys definitely you have a decent balance in most funds, so you don't have any issues. It looks like for being overspent on funds and things like that. One thing that was kind of to be brought up on this page is in the FEMA fund, you'll see a prior period adjustment of $1.6 million. This was due to the reclass of the unearned revenue that we decided to do on the cash that had been collected from 2012 that weren't spent yet. We had to actually show that being that way as it is for this year. So that money that was in a liability for last year would have got actually for revenue for this year. So there was nothing wrong with that fund. It's just that we had to reclass what we had called, what we did not call a liability last year. So that was the only thing with that fund. That's why it was shown as a prior period adjustment. Yes, the road funds appear to be in pretty good shape. You guys have definitely, had taken some hits on trying to keep your roads, safe for people to travel on, and so you guys are doing pretty well with that. Try to, you guys get some grants for those roads, so that's good. I'm glad they're helping you out on that. But it appears your fund balance seem to be in pretty good shape on this page. So that I would hope that a bank would look at this sheet and they think that you're doing okay. So that's it on that page, I guess. You guys got any questions as of yet?
No, I don't think so. I think everything's going well.
Okay. Okay. We'll move to page number 10. And, I just wanted, since you guys you have a health insurance fund, and it's always nice to kind of know how that's doing. And it appears, you guys are able to make whatever you guys collect for those. You guys aren't going under on that fund. So it appears that you guys are able to keep that balance in the safe zone. So that's good to have. Let's see. And then go to page number 12, and that's the cash flow statement for this fund. And that appears to be in a safe zone too. So you guys don't appear to have any issues with keeping up with this health insurance fund. So and with health insurance being expensive and all the costs for it, it's nice to know that you guys are keeping that fund safe. So next we'll go to we'll talk a little bit about I'm starting on page number 14. This is the note financial statement. Nothing too much for changes on the first few pages. That was updated quite a bit last year, but nothing really changed. This kind of just outlines your accounting policies and kind of just explains a little bit about the statements that are before this section. So nothing really up to date, and nothing changed on those pages. We'll go to page 20. Just going to take a few, just a few larger amendments I want to bring up that you guys have done. And it looks like most of the amendments you guys have to do are kind of related to your road funds, which sometimes those cannot be seen until later. So it's for you right now, it's probably inevitable that you may not know at the beginning how much those are going to cost. And and then also you guys are having some extra revenue along with it, so it does kind of cancel that out. You get some grant revenue, and as long as you guys are bringing that up in your meetings, that should be no problem. This appears, especially for FEMA funds, you got a $1.5 million amendment, and then you have a county road fund, also of $751. So that's actually the FEMA ones actually went down. You guys can move that around, looks like. But so yeah, that's kind of typical for some counties that have water issues, that the road funds just happen to they spend more money out of those funds. So let's see. Next, I'll probably go to just a quick note on page 23. This is just kind of an overall snapshot of your long-term debt, and that seems to be going down. Your main debt issue is just the you have bonds payable. You have a balance of $908,000, and that will decrease every year, of course. But for overall counties, there's a lot more counties that have more debt than this. So you guys seem to be, with even all these road projects going on, you guys are doing pretty good for your debt. So there's no issues with that. Let's see. Probably go to note 21, which is page 27. Note 21. This is this is the prior period adjustment that I was talking about with the FEMA fund. And that's just showing, what the beginning balance was, and then we had to adjust it down for that reclass of the liability. So, and that kind of countered this year to put that revenue back in. So it was just a reclass issue. Nothing. There was no error there. It was just we had to reclass some funds from 2012. Let's see, next page 28. This is kind of, it gives you kind of an idea of your construction progress, what commitments you have out at the year end, and that is, so you have a contract amount of $20 million for your projects that were open still at end of 2013, and you have a balance of $9.5 million. So overall you're about half done with your projects that were started in 13. You might have some more in 14, but this kind of gives you an idea of what projects are outstanding. Let's see, that's it for the notes. We'll skip over to, we'll go to page 42, and this is the last page of the report, the findings page. This is a very clean page. There's you have unmodified opinions, which are clean opinions on everything that we looked at. There's no real weaknesses found that was high enough to be mentioned in this report. And then for the single audit this year, which is if you guys get over $500,000 in grants revenue from the Fed, we do a single audit. And this year, the only program we had to test was the FEMA disaster assistance program, and there was no findings in that testing. So there was no issues on the single audit, which is always nice. So that would take the end of the report here. Did you guys have any questions on the report?
Any questions for Mr. Erickson? Thank you, Mr. Erickson.
Okay.
Did very well.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Thanks. And like I said, we're always appreciative of how the staff is there when we come. So I want to give them a little credit. Definitely helps out with trying to conduct an audit when you have people who care about their report. So it's nice to have that. So and I can tell you, like always, we always enjoy having the chance to do your audit. So we try to make things go as smooth as we can for everybody. So but anyways, that's about all I have then. And thanks again for having us be able to do that for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Okay, you guys have a good day.
First order of business after that is thank Elizabeth.
I'll thank
And
everybody.
thank Elizabeth and Lisa and
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody gets
Everybody
involved
does
with
a
it.
Yep.
fantastic job with their
Yeah.
budgets. And basically then you need a motion to approve.
Accept the audit.
Yes.
Motion to accept the audit.
Second.
A motion and a second to accept the audit. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. I didn't want you to ask any questions because I couldn't answer.
Oh, you could answer that.
Okay. We're done with announcements. Any other announcements? Motion to adjourn.
Approve.
Motion and a second. We're done.